How are we doing, everybody? This is Let's Be Real with Brad. Today, we are going to be talking about The Sopranos Season 2. I did a Season 1 review a couple weeks ago, so definitely check out that review if you haven't already. With that out of the way, let's talk about the spoiler-free review of the season. I have to say, I love this season so much, as I do think this season is even better than the first. There are many complex storytelling methods this season does, which feels planned out and has hidden detail references along the way. I don't think I'm going to cover every little thing that I want to, because this video would be as long as an episode of The Sopranos. The filmmakers went all in onto the second season with fantastic writing, perfect acting, and memorable storylines that always kept me engaged. The acting is genuinely some of the best I have ever seen. If we look up how many Emmy nominations this season received for acting alone, you will see all the major characters get nominated, which they rightfully deserve. At this point, the writing is probably the best I have ever seen in a television series. The filmmakers handle so many characters with all their own subplots intertwining with well-developed backstories, which must be vastly challenging to do. The fact that I'm having trouble writing out all my notes for these characters is astounding to me. Every time the filmmakers start a new subplot, the filmmakers always find a way to finish it. I wish I had watched it during its initial run to talk about each episode as they aired. Sometimes I don't think I appreciate the episodes as much as I should, because each episode is so deep and rich that by binging it, I don't let it soak in. If you think one episode isn't as action heavy or isn't that interesting, there are still many buildups and character arcs being worked on in that particular episode. Overall, this is a fantastic season, which is undoubtedly a little bit better than the first season, with more action, more bloody moments, and filled with hilarious, perfectly written dialogue that never gets old. I'm giving season 2 a 10 out of 10. Now, we will be talking about the top 5 most significant moments of the entire season, starting with number 5. Christopher has weird visions during his medically induced coma after almost dying from being shot in the middle of the season. It tackles the area of Italian culture of religion, which would be Catholicism. It brings the show to an exciting spot where Christopher dreams about possibly being in purgatory hell, seeing this random guy that Tony and Paulie all killed. It's quite outstanding where they go with this, as Paulie gets his own little arc where he becomes a bit crazed about these visions. This dream seems to foreshadow that something terrible will happen in the future. We don't know much about it yet because we go away from this storyline. After all, Christopher needs to heal in the hospital. I hope they continue with this in the next season. Number 4 is with Tony's dreams that he has in the last episode after getting food poisoning. These dreams seem to foreshadow the many things to come. This section was the one that took me by surprise and was weird to go into, but I was impressed with what they did with it. Tony has these visions, and so far one of them has come true. This particular vision that comes true is that he finds out that Sal has been working with the FBI since he got back, being the rat they were trying to find earlier on. You don't know why and how he comes to see these dreams, or maybe they were hunches that he was having that came to life. Still, it somehow clicks in his head that Sal has been the rat. There are other things that we start to see. One is with Paulie that I feel like might be happening in the later seasons. I think Paulie is too much of a main character, being the right-hand man of Tony. I believe it to be very interesting because they're just sitting down at a table talking and you don't know what they are talking about. The other one that we see is with Sal as a fish in a marketplace, but it is used as a metaphor. This basically foreshadows how he dies and the crew gets rid of his body later in the episode. It's just interesting that we see him like this, as we don't know what it means yet. The last exciting one is with Dr. Melfi, which just shows him having sex with her, which he does address in one of the last meetings. She was caught off guard by it, as he tells her what happens in this dream with her. It is something I feel like the show has to be building to. Still, I wouldn't be surprised if it does or doesn't happen, because the show is very good at showing it to you, building it up to make you forget, but then it happens. Or you think it's going to happen the way it is, and it doesn't. Number 3 is when his prodigies, Matt and Sean, almost kill Christopher. They attempted to prove a point to make a name for themselves by killing Christopher because Richie didn't like him, which backfired in their faces. They almost killed Christopher as he's just walking out of the store and he gets shot at, which I thought was crazy. It just came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting something big to happen, which in turn put Christopher in the hospital and he almost died. Those two guys got what came to them, which was kind of satisfying because they were very annoying characters for obvious narrative reasons. When Christopher comes back at the hospital, he's kind of sidelined for the rest of the season, which is good because his storyline finished as we need to give more time to the other characters. The second best moment was when Sal gets killed by Tony, Silvio, and Paulie on a boat in the season finale. I feel that this will happen if you're paying attention to the show. There seems to be this very welcoming feel that everyone on board knows how it will go down except Sal, who's been trying to play along. This moment was so utterly perfect, but also sad at the same time because you like Sal. I enjoyed how Sal was attempting to get the best possible death by asking them if he could get a drink and not to shoot him in the face for pride reasons. After that, they give him the gangster's death by hitting him with 6-7 bullets each. It was hard seeing this go down because you can tell that Tony and the crew were upset. After all, Sal is like a brother to them. This moment shows that the number one priority is always about business and loyalty. They could know you for their whole lives, but in this kind of environment, you screw up, life is over for you. Second, they're all crazy sociopaths, which makes them even scarier as we go on. The lesson they prove is you can't let personal feelings get in the way of business. Sometimes personal feelings do intrude when it matters most, especially when it comes to family. I think that is something that I find is an exciting element of the show. Now we are on to number one significant moment when Janice shoots and kills Richie after a confrontation in episode 12. Richie had this coming to him as I thought this character wouldn't make it past season 4. I was shocked when Janice blasted him after she got punched in the mouth because she tried to talk to him about something Richie wasn't interested in. He's not a character that you're supposed to like, but at that moment, I hated him with all my soul. I never thought she would be the one to kill Richie, but it makes sense because Carmela mentions earlier how Janice used to be a feminist. This idea comes back into play in the most extremist form of all, murder. I thought Richie was going to receive the mobster's death. I love it when Tony gets the call. He comes by and mops all the blood off the floor with no emotion behind it, which reminded me of American Psycho. There is something so diabolical and sadistic about it that makes him a true sociopath. While this is happening, Livia is upstairs sleeping after taking sleeping pills. It seems as if she knew something was happening because she mentioned how she was hearing people coming in and out during the night. So maybe she was asleep or perhaps she wasn't, but I'm sure we will get into that in the next season. Then Janice leaves and goes back to Seattle. I don't think we've seen the last of Janice yet, but I think she'll take a season off. Now, I want to talk about the season themes that I think were perfected so well. The theme of selfishness runs through most of the characters we meet. This theme starts with Tony and his mobster group. You can see that many other great characters are beginning to be affected, especially his family of Carmela, Meadow, and AJ. They start becoming a little selfish, becoming detached from Tony. It shows us what probably happened with these mobsters when they were children. They were treated like this in the environment they were in, especially with Tony Soprano. We did get flashbacks of this in the first season, dealing with his parents and lifestyle. I thought it was fascinating. The second theme that seems to be a significant presence of this season is loneliness. You wouldn't necessarily think about this theme as you move through the season because Tony feels somewhat alone in this world that he has. Even though he has great wealth, a healthy family, his mobster crew, and has this controlling power, it seems as though it is not enough because Tony is a sociopath. He will do whatever it takes for himself to accomplish that by reminding you that many other characters feel lonely as well. His kids, AJ and Meadow, feel lonely all the time because their father isn't around to support them mentally and physically. You also have Uncle Junior, who feels alone. He doesn't have anyone to talk to because of his house arrest. Livia doesn't feel like anyone wants her because she is a manipulative, conniving woman. Even Carmela feels lonely and ends up cheating on Tony, even though he does it all the time. She's allowing it even though she had the whole talk with the priest the previous season about it. It looks like it's a big part of the show of what happens when you become this disgusting, destructive, and horrible person that makes you so lonely as well. The last thing this season deals with is tradition. Tradition is the most significant element the show has, especially when you're dealing with the mafia. Many of the mafia members do things in an old school manner. Tony Soprano is very traditional as well as Uncle Junior. That's how Tony was born, as he doesn't adapt to the new ways of living. All the female characters are the strongest in the show. They realize some of the many idiotic and delusional things these mafia characters do. Even if it's a little small thing, they could be used for humor and can be used to move the plot along. Still, they won't allow it, but it's also interesting that we see when Tony and his crew go to Italy. We see that some of those traditions in Italian culture have changed over time in America. The gang isn't pure born Italian, which makes the show quite interesting because they start questioning what the Italians do in Italy. One of these being how they treat women who do wrong or how they treat other people is pretty intense. I think it is crazy to think about one of the main subplots between Tony and his mother Livia. He has to support her and love her because it's his mom, but then his therapist, Dr. Melfi, tries to challenge that with him. He can't let that go because it's something he has always taught through tradition. Just because his mom birthed him doesn't mean he has to love her if she has treated him in this lousy manner. He decides to do that, so he repeatedly breaks that tradition, which makes his character more conflicted. So if you enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It means the world to me. You are liking my videos and being subscribed to the channel. You are the best. Be sure to watch all of season 3 if you like to watch this spoiler review. These reviews were supposed to be in line with The Many Saints of Newark, a new prequel movie of The Sopranos, which I'm incredibly excited about, but today they announced they are moving the film to September 24th. I'm going to keep with the same schedule by finishing The Sopranos in March, so I hope you continue to follow along. As always, I will see you all in the next video.